guys! Welcome back to my channel and my new setup. What do you guys think? I know it's simple and clean, but I wanted to have a white backdrop for tutorials especially. So this isn't going to be my standard going forward backdrop, but you will see me mix up my normal background with a clean white background like this. So I'm excited to test this out. I kind of played with my light situation. Clearly I have a new backdrop, so I'm excited to edit this video and see how it looks. Anyway, today's video is a tutorial using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. I uploaded a video maybe a week or so ago with a pretty classic, like, everyday look, and I told you guys I would be uploading more videos using this palette with more bold, kind of fun, colorful looks, so that's what we did today. Let's see, I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my content, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my future videos and you can join our little fun family here on YouTube. All right, I think that wraps it up. Let's get started. All right, so we are about to get started. I pretty much have everything on except eye makeup. I wanted this tutorial to be pretty short and concise and just focused on the eyes, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with an eye primer. Today I'm using the Revlon Colorstay eyeshadow primer. This is one that I grab for pretty consistently, and I'm just going to use my fingertips to apply this on my lids. I like to do a nice sheer layer, not too much. I want it to be sheer and evenly applied from my lash line to my brow. You guys have to excuse my lashes. They are so sparse right now. I'm so sad. I actually have an appointment in a few hours to get them filled. They are looking pretty sad. So I'm going to go into the palette and I'm going to start by just kind of dusting this shadow right here, base all over my eyelid, just to kind of set my eyeshadow primer and kind of create like an even canvas. Since I am going to be doing a little bit more bold of a look, I definitely feel like this step helps make everything look real blended. And a little bit softer too. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with this shade here, which I feel is probably the best transition shade for me in the palette. It's called Incense. And I'm just going to kind of dust this in the crease. This has a lot of pigment. As you can see, it goes on really intense right off the bat. I'm using a 221 brush. This is my favorite crease brush, you guys. I think it's just a great size for someone with smaller eyes. It's not too large, but it's still soft enough to where it gives a nice, pretty blend. Sometimes the smaller brush you get, the more stiff or dense the brush. And for a blending crease brush, obviously you want something soft, but if you can find something small and soft, that's pretty much ideal for smaller eyes or hooded eyes. Next, I'm going to go in and add this color here. It's called Love, and it's just a nice pretty pink with a little bit of sparkle to it. It's not necessarily shimmery, but it has a little bit of sparkle, and I'm just going to kind of go over that crease just to add a little bit of pink to that crease. So I'm basically applying it just below the crease and then blending it into the crease, if that makes sense. I'm not going directly on top of it, but just positioning my brush just below it. Next, I'm going to go in with this shade here. It's called Rose Gold, and as you can see, it is pretty much exactly that. Very shimmery, very warm, pinky rose gold. So I'm taking the Sigma eye shading brush, the E55. You can see that it's really small and dense, so it's going to do a great job of picking up a lot of product and depositing that product on the lid. Since this is a real shimmery shadow, I definitely want to use a more dense, smaller brush because that's going to do the best job of really grabbing that product and holding on to it. If I were to use a real soft, fluffy brush, I would likely have a big, glittery mess under the eye, and clearly we don't want that. So I'm just going to go in and press this all over the lid. Okay, and then last for the lid, I'm going to take this shade here. It's called Passion, and I'm going to put that just in the outer corner and blend it in the outer corner into the outer crease. I'm going to use the actual brush that came in the palette because I feel like this shorter shader end is a good size for that. So I'm just going to use the side of the brush, pick up the color, tap off the excess because it is dark. I don't want it to fall and ruin the foundation that I have. And I'm just going to go and apply that right on the outer corner. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see that it's not blended. It doesn't look real clean. It looks a little messy. That's okay. This step is just simply to get the product where I want it. And then I'm going to take the other end of that brush and I'm going to just kind of soften it and blend it out so that there's no harsh edges. And so last, I'm going to brighten the brow bone. I feel like this palette, the only two real brow highlight shades in terms of how dark or light is the shade Base and this shade Dreamer. Dreamer is really shimmery, so I don't want that much shimmer on my brow, but I do want it to be a little bit more of a highlight than Base gives me alone. So I'm going to mix the two. I'm going to grab a lot of Base, and then I'm going to add a little bit of Dreamer, tap off the excess. And if you notice, I'm using a brush that is not super stiff. Like, I'm not using a brush that's this stiff. I'm using a blending brush, but this is more on the stiffer side of blending brushes. This is the E25 by Sigma. I don't actually like this for a crease or blending brush. I think it's too stiff, but I think for a brow bone, it's perfect. And I'm just going to go right under the brow bone. It's nice because it is small enough at the tip to where it can just get that brow bone, even if you have shadow already on in the crease, without muddying the crease. If you feel like it gets a little too shimmery, just go back over it with that more matte shade Base, and that'll help kind of tone down that metallic. Okay, and last, I'm just going to take the brush I used for my crease initially, and I'm just going to kind of run it over a paper towel to get off any excess product, and I'm just going to go over the crease a little bit more just to make sure everything's as soft and blended as I want it. I'm not adding product here. I'm just kind of shearing things out and softening everything. To line my eyes, I'm using the Kat Von D Tattoo Ink Liner. Is that what this is called? It is called Tattoo Liner, and it's waterproof liquid liner. I'm using the shade Black. I absolutely love this liner. I have so many little sample sizes of it. I've actually never had to purchase a full size, but the Sephora sale is coming up, and I think this is going to be one that I get. For the lower line, I'm going to line the inner waterline with something brightening. I'm using the Wet n Wild Brow Highlight Crayon to line the inner rim of my eye. Next, I'm going to line the lower lashes with a kind of smoky bronze pencil. I'm using the Flower Beauty. This is called Bronzed Out eye pencil to line the lower lashes. And then I'm going to go over that with eyeshadow. I always like to put a kohl soft pencil down first and layer it with shadow. It gives the shadow something to adhere to so you don't have this mess on the lower lash line. And it also kind of sets the eyeliner so you don't have to worry about any transfer. So to apply the shadow, I'm going to use this Sigma brush. It's the short shader E20. You can see that it's really small, really dense. It's perfect for the lower lash line. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to play with a little bit more color. I'm going to use this color right here, Drama. You can see it's a really nice red, shimmery purple. And I'm just going to load up the tip of the brush, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to gently tug so that I get a nice even application on my lower lash line. Oh, this color is beautiful. Last is mascara. I usually don't add mascara on my lash extensions, but we are going to today. I'm probably not going to make my lash stylist happy when I go see her for my fill later, but I need something. Even with mascara, they look so sparse right now. It's so sad, so sad. I was hoping I could film this after my lashes, but my lashes are this afternoon, and I really only had this morning to film, so that's what we are working with. Alrighty, and then the lower lashes. Oh, I'm sorry, the mascara I'm using is the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. This is one of my favorites. I think this is a great mascara. The only con is that it does get clumpy pretty early. After a few weeks, maybe a month, you'll notice that you are kind of feeling like you want to replace it. So people have asked me, is it as good as the Chanel Le Volume? And I think that it is pretty close. I feel like it's almost as good as the Chanel Le Volume. Yes, it's like a third the cost of the Chanel Le Volume, but if you think about it, you are going to replace it probably 3 times for every one Chanel Le Volume that you get, so I think it kind of evens out. Okay, that's about as much as I can do before they start to just get too clumpy. I do want to mention what I have on my lips, which is the Clinique matte pop lipsticks. It's the Clinique pop lipsticks, but it's the matte line, and the shade is 13 Peony Pop, and I love this color. I think it's such a pretty soft bubblegum pink. So flattering. So yeah, that is what I have on my lips. And that wraps up this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I wanted to offer a look that was a little bit more colorful, a little bit more dramatic than the everyday eyeshadow look that I first did with this palette. Please leave me all your questions and comments down below. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my content, I'd love for you to subscribe and join our little family. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!